YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Today I got my score predictions, picks against the spread for the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game for you guys today, like we've been doing all season long. Only 3 more games left. Hopefully they're as good as the divisional round games because those were very entertaining there. We'll be talking live during these games on our Twitter. Like always, a lot of updates, news on there, predictions, polls. Check it out. Link down below, pinned in the comment section for that, as long as recent videos. We had all kinds of playoff videos, off-season videos already underway. Definitely more to come. So join us for that. Like, subscribe to notifications on me. Much, much appreciated. AFC Championship score prediction. These two teams played in Week 17. The Chiefs had a good lead early. It kind of felt like the only offense that was able to move the ball on the great Bengals defense at that time, or pretty much as we could see even in the postseason, the Bengals defense very stout. But then the Bengals came back and had all kinds of production through the air on offense and won that game. Yeah, interesting game. People described it as controversial calls at the end. I mean, maybe there was a 1 or 2 I didn't really agree with, but I don't think it really decided the game. I was fine with how the game went, really. The Bengals held the ball at the end and did not allow the Chiefs to have the ball back. That was also interesting. So should be an interesting game here. Question is, well, we know it's going to be high scoring. Big thing here, I mean, the Chiefs going against a pretty good defense in the Bengals. You know, what happened last time where the Chiefs were able to move the ball extremely easy the first half. Maybe not so much as the game went on. The Bengals were holding the ball a little bit longer, though. Another question is, can the Bengals get touchdowns instead of field goals, which during the regular season that really wasn't a problem for the most part. But looking at the Raiders game, the Titans game, only, in the red zone, only or just outside the red zone, getting field goals. So can they turn it into touchdowns? Now, of course, the Titans might have one of the best defensive football. The Chiefs, better than the Chiefs for sure. So, but they're going to have to execute in the red zone. I'm thinking maybe a couple field goals more than you would like for our liking here, and that could result in the difference in this game. I do like the match for the Bengals. Why the Bengals were able to take control in the second half of that game last time is because Joe Burrow is very good, top of the NFL against the blitz. With those receivers, they're very good in man coverage. They also and that's pretty obvious because there's so many good receivers on our team, and you got to have that many guys following these guys around. It's not ideal in man. And they seem to have success in cover, too. Joe Burrow and the receivers able to read it and hit that whole shot down the sideline. So those 3 things are what they're best at, and that's exactly the Chiefs' defense. And that's why the Bengals had success last time, because that's what the Chiefs do there. So maybe they switch it up a little bit. Maybe they become a little bit more unpredictable. They try to fix what happened last time. It's a very smart team, well-coached team, the Chiefs, and they're experienced in this atmosphere, this type of game. So I think they'll adjust properly. I still think the Bengals have a lot on offense. Another thing is, you still worry about the Bengals offense line at this stage. It kind of showed up last week. So the Bengals defense stepped up. Will it be able to step up again to cover up the offensive lines, slowing down the entire offense? Again, it's not the Titans' defense, but the Titans might have put some things on film here, and the Chiefs will drop some good blitzes, and we'll see if they can get pressure. Frank Clark usually steps up at this time of the year, usually quiet, and then the huge games ends up stepping up. Chris Jones is going to be a big problem. Going to be a big problem for the Bengals here. So that's definitely a guy to look out for. I just got the matchup, based on the Bengals offense versus that Chiefs defense. It says the Bengals there, but Chiefs offense is a different animal. It's a different team in this stage. So I'm going with the Chiefs. Definitely a different matchup than the Titans. The Chiefs won't really worry about running. They've been opening up the running game too, but that's because teams are so worried about the pass. So it's going to be a tricky game for the Bengals. I'm going to trust the Chiefs at home with that crowd in the AFC Championship game here. It should be a fun one though, head to head, and where team strengths and weaknesses are. It shows the Bengals have a realistic shot. That offensive line is going to have to step up. I was surprised that the Chiefs were favored by as much as 7. That's quite a bit. I look at the past game, title games, conference championship games, and it always seems to be these games always surprisingly end up being around 7. It's weird. Not the other one though this year. But I got the Chiefs 31-29. Can the Bengals take those field goals, turn them into touchdowns? That can win them the game as long as their offensive line steps up as well. To the NFC Championship game. Yeah, this is tough to predict the score on this one because I can see it being defense. I could see it being offense. I'm kind of predicting a little bit of both. Maybe a stretch of offense, a stretch of defense, a lot of maybe more offense early in this game. But I think we're going to see the defense step up, make some big plays to keep it out of an absolute shootout. But we'll see. It's a tricky one to predict the score on. The Rams are favored by 3.5. The 49ers they continue to beat the Rams 6 in a row. They beat them twice this year. Last time was a down 17-0, came back to win. The Rams feel different right now. They definitely feel different than they were in the regular season. I think that was on purpose. I talked about that even heading into the postseason. They saved some looks. It's not just a straight drop back, one read plays anymore. Just whip the ball downfield every play. There's a lot more to it. They want to run the ball. They have a collection of running backs they can do that with, as long as they give them the carries, as long as Akers doesn't fumble. And they have the weapons to spread the ball out again. So it's no more just scheming up one read plays for Cooper Kupp. Sometimes they will, but it's let Stafford scan the field, open things up for everybody, and it's pretty tough to stop. 49ers defense has been fantastic. I mean, they get beat up on one drive against the Packers, and they turn it around. A key on that was they were able to double Devontae Adams. It's very hard to double the Rams because of the collection of weapons. Just so many guys, starting with Cooper Kupp from the slot. So it is going to be a little bit different, but I still like the 49ers defense a lot. They are a little thin at the cornerback position. I talked about could the Bills, it didn't show they were thin at the cornerback position. It possibly could show against the Chiefs that end up happening. So could that be the case here against this explosive Rams offense? So I think the Rams just have a little bit more juice on offense. That's the difference here. 49ers offensive line viewed as very solid, but they were giving up more pressure than I thought against the Packers. And then the Rams they've been on an absolute tear, with that pass rush, the entire defensive line moving Aaron Donald around. And the Rams offense line's been holding up quite well, and that's been a big factor on why the 49ers were able to pull off these games, because their defensive line, their pass rush. So they're both great. We'll see which one's better. I'm leaning more towards the Rams based on both the teams' offensive lines play a part as well, a major part in this prediction for me. And the Rams, of course, have the playmakers in the back end. So, I mean, the start's going to be huge in this game. I know we saw a comeback last time they played, but if 49ers get that ball first, they're going to look to pound the football on them. And teams really can't pound the ball on the Rams, but the 49ers can. So they're going to be looking to pound the football and then go score right off the bat. If that happens, it's looking pretty damn good for the 49ers. Rams start the ball. You would expect them to start, before 49ers defense makes their adjustments. So basically what I'm getting to, team that starts with the ball, it's a kind of a must score, and they're looking pretty good right off the bat if they do score. So can Jimmy G step up? We know he's playing hurt. Can he thrive in the passing game here against a really good defense? This defense has stepped up in the playoffs. See, the Rams, both these teams, the 49ers, they at the end of the season, they kind of felt like this. Their record didn't really show what they were in the regular season or what they were at the end of the season, but the Rams just feel like a different team, and I think it's just because they're changing things up a little bit here. So I think it's just a different game in the playoffs, but maybe they just still cannot beat the 49ers. But I look at the Rams team. They got offensive line. They got the quarterback. They have the weapons. They have the defensive line for the pass rush. They have playmakers in the back end. It seems like on top of it, whoever they throw here and there, they end up thriving as well. 49ers, love the way they play. Nasty team, or physical. Just going to outwork the opposing team. A lot of guys were coming up limping in that battle against the Packers last week too, so that scares me a little bit as well. It's just, will they have enough offensively? Do they become one-dimensional? With just the run. We'll see. We'll get these questions answered this week. I'm feeling the Rams finally break through against the 49ers, but I do like both these defenses. Again, I think it can be a stretch of offense and then a big stretch of defense and maybe a little bit offense at the end. So it's maybe a little stretch of offense, and then you got a big gap of just great defensive play kind of in the middle, and at the end, teams trying to make that push offensively. So that's kind of what I'm feeling for that game. But I do got the Rams. Like I said, matchup may say, I talked about the Bengals, where the strengths and weaknesses are with the Bengals offense versus the Chiefs defense, and the matchup has said 49ers over Rams, because it's a team that has been more physical than them, can actually run the ball on them, and just got the Rams have a problem with them. But kind of going just with the teams that are kind of more, in my opinion, built for this moment, made for this moment, to head to the Super Bowl. And this my back in June, my prediction was Rams Chiefs. So I kind of something I learned from over time the last several years is my original predictions end up being more accurate, than any of my other predictions. So I'm kind of going back to sticking with the original picks there, and that's another reason I went with these two teams. But that'll do it. Only 2 games this week. A little sad, don't get to break down more games, but we have our straight up picks with the other guys of the Goat House where they make their picks on these games. It's already up on the channel. We got all kinds of off-season content, coaching, draft, just free agency type videos, and definitely more to come. A lot of important links pinned in the comments, like I said, so check it out. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. It's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.